All right, so a lot to talk about. First, let's talk about Kevin Harvick again. Just the last little bit. I said in my previous video they did that NASCAR doesn't really announce the penalties, but they did. I like this transparency. They did explain what was actually wrong and what was really going on. The Ford team basically had their own spoiler. All teams are supposed to have the same spoiler. That are created, equally. The Ford team created their own spoiler, passed it off to look like a their I guess the basic spoiler, and it was offset to the right by the smallest of margins, like 200 thousandths of whatever an inch. Like it's not even noticeable by like the eye. But the fact that they did try to pass it off as their own or as the normal spoiler, but it was actually a spoiler that SHR created themselves, shows the obvious intent of trying to do something a little bit different, trying to get and play around within that box. Again, not necessarily cheating, but just trying to play within the box and get away with things that you can get away with, and that's what teams are supposed to do. And NASCAR were rightfully so kind of pissed off. Senior Vice President of Competition Scott Miller was very vocal about not being the happiest and how they have to be a little bit harsher and that it's getting to ridiculous territory with how the teams are really starting to push it and they're not trying to listen, and it's just a back and forth cat and mouse game here. And Scott Miller said he wanted to stop that, and I completely agree. I don't think my idea is being taken into consideration. I said, and also I didn't know about the L2 penalty, so I have to get educated on that, so I apologize. L1 is not the harshest penalty. They could have actually penalized him further, 75 points for an L2 penalty, but they decided not to do that. So again, I have to get educated on the rule book, so that's my fault, but they penalized him 40 points. They talked about disqualifying cars. Now, a disqualification in their eyes would be just a disqualification from the race, which means you would get no points from that race. So I think Kevin Harvick would lose 60 points if he was disqualified from the race, because the stage points would go away as well. In this penalty, he was only charged 40 points. My plea was disqualification from the playoffs only if it happened in the playoffs. So let's say if it was in the regular season, you go with your normal penalties, L1, L2, whatever that may be, however, points, fines, all that stuff, suspensions, just on a harsher level. But when it comes to the playoffs, if you get caught there and there was proof of intent, you have to prove that there was intent there to play around within the rules, then I would want disqualification from the playoffs, which means like you no longer have a chance at the championship if it happened within those final 10 races. That might be too harsh, but that is, I'm pretty sure that would definitely send the message, and that is still what I want, just for the integrity of the sport. Because now we're heading into Phoenix, or ISM Raceway, and Kevin Harvick is 3 points above on the cutoff line, and again, this is not the best of scenarios. I have no hatred towards Kevin Harvick. I really like the guy. I really like the Ford team. Really like everyone over there. And they should, they've had a fantastic season. Probably the best season they've had since they've been together there at the Ford team since 2014. But I think it would be a shame if they won the championship. Now, don't get me wrong. Personally, I won't have like the biggest issue, but I can already see a lot of fans, because it's going to be fresh in their minds. Remember, Homestead is less than 2 weeks away right now. If Kevin Harvick wins the championship, expect boos, expect fans to complain because they won the Texas race by cheating in their eyes. Again, not my opinion. I don't call it cheating, but in their eyes, it's cheating. And it would not look good for the sport at all, one bit, and that is something I am dreading. Also, I saw a lot of comments saying that, well, what if it happened at Homestead? This won't happen at Homestead. They go through a very, very tedious inspection process that all gets done that Sunday night. So don't worry about finding out on a Wednesday that the car failed. So that will not happen. NASCAR takes that, the 4 cars, especially in the championship, they take it very seriously to inspect every single part of the car to make sure those cars are in alliance with the rules. So you don't have to worry about that if anything happens. If a car did fail inspection, I would be surprised, number one, because it would be surprising that NASCAR didn't catch it. But number two, you would hear about it probably a few hours after the race, not a few days, a few hours after the race. And that is something that NASCAR does the best they can to do, but also that is something that the format gives, and when you have a one race shootout, you put yourself in that kind of box. Hasn't been made that I hate this format yet. Ah, man, I just gotta throw it in there just a little bit, just stab it in there that I hate this format. But yeah, that's the final gist on the whole Kevin Harvick situation, and yeah, they go on to Phoenix. Now, Phoenix or ISM Raceway, can you guys comment down below what I should use for the race review. Do I call it ISM or do I call it Phoenix? I like calling a racetrack by the state it is in, which is why I call Auto Club California most of the time. But also, I call it Auto Club too because I've known it my entire life being Auto Club. But still, I want to call it Phoenix. It's also known as ISM, but that is what we're going to be talking about for most of this video here. Qualifying is going to be going on tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Qualifying is much more important now to see where Kevin Harvick qualifies. Kevin Harvick is going to be the #1 guy to watch this entire weekend because if he gets stage points and he does very well in the stages, then Kurt Busch and Chase Elliott will most likely not catch him. But if Kevin Harvick struggles, and there was one race in the recent Phoenix era, he's dominated Phoenix most of the time, but there was one race, I'm pretty sure it was last year, I think, where in the fall race, Kevin Harvick did not run well. He was running 12th, 13th. He was not doing well. Normally, Harvick dominates Phoenix. He wins. He won this spring, but he did not dominate that race. Kyle Busch led the most laps at 128 laps. Harvick just ended up winning the race, but he had a fast car the entire time. And he is the odds-on favorite. My pick to win Texas was Kyle Busch, and I was picking Harvick to win Phoenix. And now I'm not going to really back away off of that. I still think Harvick will win Phoenix. For those of you thinking that they might be easier on the car or not push, it doesn't work like that. That car will be fast. They will have a chip on their shoulder to prove everyone wrong. Like the 200ths of a little thing will not play a big factor into Phoenix. That 4 team, if they just bring what they've been bringing all season, will be fast. So he is still my pick to win the Phoenix race. Now, where this gets juicy is with Kurt Busch and Chase Elliott. Eric Almirola and Clint Bowyer, they have one job. They have to win. They're going to be going balls to the walls to do that. But Kurt Busch and Chase Elliott have a very unique situation where if Harvick fails in any way, they have a chance to point their way in. Kurt Busch has been very, very consistent all season. He would run top 5 and then top 10. He'd run in that area. He's never had the fastest outright car all year, but he has been very consistently fast to get points, and that's why he is in this position. I am not ruling out Kurt Busch at all, especially if the SHR cars are fast and Kurt finishes 1 spot ahead of Kevin Harvick in the stages and, then gets 1 spot ahead in the race. That's 3 points, and, that he could get ahead there through that way. But it's going to be very, very difficult for them if Harvick comes and proves what he's worth, which I think most of us are expecting. Still, in my opinion, Kurt Busch has a chance to point his way in. Chase Elliott, I think, is still in a must-win situation if Harvick just does his job. But anything can happen on late race restarts because ISM is a different configuration. The track itself is not different, just where the start-finish line is, but that does play a big role, especially on restarts. So I think what the rule is going to be is that you cannot use that dogleg tri-oval on the initial restart. So if you're starting on the inside lane, you would think it'd be an obvious advantage once you cross the start-finish line before heading into the dogleg to just cut down. But I'm pretty sure the rule that NASCAR has in place, I'm not 100% sure about this because I haven't heard it in a while, but I think a few months ago they announced something that the entire field has to get past the start-finish line before you can go through the dogleg, or they just ban the dogleg for that initial lap. Because it would be way too much of an advantage and it would cause chaos. So restarts are going to be interesting as well because if you're a little bit further back in the field, you're going to be restarting in the middle of the corner, and that's going to be a little bit odd. And it could spread the field out as well a little bit. And we don't really know what the preferred line is going to be. I'm pretty sure the leader will always pick the inside line just because of the dog leg and the coming out of turn 2. It's not turn 2 anymore. It's turn 4. That's going to be really weird. Coming out of turn 4 down to the dogleg, they're going to have a pretty good advantage. So that's going to be very interesting. The weather, it's going to rain. It's absolutely going to rain in Phoenix. No. The weather is perfect. So race fans, if you're going to Phoenix, if any of you are going to Phoenix, let me know. If you are going to Phoenix, you're going to enjoy your day. It's 75 degrees high. It's perfect. It's Phoenix. It's always sunny. And with the new renovations at ISM Raceway, apparently that I think Phoenix announced the grandstands are sold out. I want to make a big plea. If you do have a ticket, please go. Please fill out the grandstands. I'm really sick and tired of seeing empty seats. It's not that fun. ISM and Phoenix have put a lot of money into the renovations. I'm very happy with what they've done. The track looks amazing. If you look at it from the outside, it basically looks like a mini Daytona from the outside of how beautiful it looks. And this is what tracks should do. They're really focusing on fan experience. They know they have a good racing facility already with just how the track is configured. So they're just working on the fan experience now, making that the best it possibly can be. And I hope more tracks do that. But what has happened at Phoenix, I hope that works, and I hope more tracks follow in their footsteps. So please, as a fan, sell out the crowd, sell out those grandstands, and show up and fill them up so we don't see those empty seats on the camera shots and everything. And enjoy your time over there at Phoenix Raceway, or ISM. This is gonna be, I want to call it Phoenix, man. This is so annoying. So one last look at the point standings again. Clint Bowyer, Eric Almirola in must-win situations, and Chase Elliott, Chase Elliott and Kurt Busch maybe can point their way in. Kevin Harvick is the real guy to be watching, and Truex and Kyle Busch, I think, are safe unless they have a drastic issue, which is possible. Which they're not too far ahead, 25 and 28 points, not too far ahead. So Truex and Kyle Busch, easily one mechanical, one wreck early on in the race, and they're probably out. So that's going to be very important to watch. My championship 4 prediction, who gets into the final 4, it's going to be Joey Logano, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, and unfortunately, I want to say Chase Elliott because, I want him to win a Phoenix. I don't think it's going to happen. Kevin Harvick will round out your championship 4. That is my prediction for the final 4. So comment down below who you think is going to win the race. Comment down below who you think is going to fill out those final 3 spots. Can someone pass Kevin Harvick? And all that good stuff. Also, comment down below what you think of the Harvick penalty as well. If you have any extra thoughts on it after all the what Scott Miller said and what was announced. By the way, really appreciate the transparency. Talk about what was wrong. Tell fans what was going on, so we have a better understanding. That's good news. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. And I will see you guys later. Hope you are having a fantastic day. Enjoy the race weekend, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.